Welcome, race fans, to another Freaky Fast broadcast on a Wednesday night. We are here with the Wicked Racing League at Dover for the Valley Office Systems 200. I am Carl Pooler up in the booth with Zach Hall. As always, Robert Moyer Jr. in the booth is our producer. And Zach, we had a event-filled clash last week. This is the first official points-paying race. 3 full stages. What can we expect here at the Monster Mile?
Oh man, this track always super tough. I think that's why I got the nickname the Monster Mile, just because at any moment that Monster Miles can reach out and grab you, and that's really just due to this place's physicality. This place here in Dover, very high banked corners first of all, but also a huge drop off into these corners and a huge climb out every single time these drivers go off into turn 1 or off into turn 3 or climb up out of 4 or 2. It's going to be 3 stories of elevation climb, so it's a wild ride up and down, somewhat like a roller coaster here, as these drivers try to manage tires. And what a place to have a season opener! Also, it's going to be fun to see how these drivers manage with the tires after coming back from that LA Coliseum last week at the tiniest track we have on iRacing.
Yeah, you said it there, Zach. That is interesting to have a season opener at a track such as Dover. You're used to the typical speedways. Daytona is always a favorite. I've seen some leagues start at Talladega, but Dover is definitely a kind of off-the-wall start of the place to start a season, start a whole playoff scheme. These guys are going to be racing hard tonight, looking for that checkered flag. And as we see, we're running around with some of these drivers. That surface is already darkening up. And Zach, how much of that rubber can you rely on, especially on this concrete surface throughout the race? You mentioned tire wear. Will that wear get better or worse as this race goes on?
It'll actually get better. Here, iRacing, what we have, we do have track conditions every night that we go into that are predetermined as to when we come into the server. Tonight, the track started at 59% rubber usage. That's moderately high. So already the track does have a decent amount of pre-applied rubber from these Goodyear tires already on this racetrack. But as this race goes on, like you alluded to, Carl, that will get better. Every single time they put a new set of tires on, there'll be more rubber on this racetrack to protect those tires and help that tire wear as the race goes on. But caution laps here at Dover, they also can pick the rubber up too. So got to be thinking of that there when those stages come around.
And those stages fall at lap 60 and 120. And then we will have a final stage of 80 laps to take us to the end of this race. So practice has concluded, and we're going to see some drivers get out and qualify. And right now, the first out there is the 22 of Eric Hauk. He is out there trying to run a really solid lap. Track position means so much here, Zach, and these qualifying laps can be so brutal. But these cars are so much on the edge, so loose as you see there. He can really struggle getting the throttle down. Is the rear tires a concern, or should we be more worried about the front tires with all the entrance speed? Because these guys are really yanking on these steering wheels hard and just really up and down the track.
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. This racetrack here with this car especially, it seems to be kind of both conditions you're fighting. From what I've seen with the Dover races we've done so far here, Freaky Fast with this Gen 7 car, it's really been very, very tight on entry to landing in the middle of the corner. And then once they get it rotated, it seems like it wants to over-rotate on that exit sometimes. So we're going to have to watch all night long, turn 2 and turn 4. Those are going to be the places where you're going to see problems. Drivers exiting a little too high, possibly getting a little loose, or even possibly getting a little tight. Like I said, you can have both conditions at the same exact time here in this car. It's kind of down to your driving style. So we'll see who can manage it the best. You're going to have plenty of time to figure that out here tonight for 200 laps as qualifying times keep ticking in here as we're about halfway through. Looks like Gavin Rogers there so far atop the world with a 22.81.
And a 22.81 is pretty consistent with this practice time of really a 22.819 versus the 811 of his qualified, but he's going to get replaced by John Curtis. John Curtis, we mentioned his name quite a bit in the front last week at the Clash at the Coliseum, and he was sounded like he was ready to get excited. I know these drivers were ready to get excited, Zach. After the Clash, they were putting up practices, they were laying down laps, so everyone's ready to go here at the really the premier race of the Wicked Racing League here at Dover. So these guys are ready to go, and so am I. So we are really here about 4 minutes, close to 4 minutes into this qualify session, as all these guys are getting their times, and only a couple of drivers so far have not qualified yet.
Yeah, and like you said, John Curtis there top the board there in the double zero. After that win at LA Coliseum, looking good for him there to continue the momentum. So we'll see who can try to attack that lap time. He was the fastest there in practice. Looks like he's carrying over here also. So with Nigel Christensen in this 20 machine, looks like he's putting down some times, and we're all hoping Nigel gets better out there. He's actually feeling a little bit under the weather here tonight, and we're gonna hope he's feeling good enough to get to the completion of this race. But most likely, it's looking like it might be a starting part for Nigel. He's definitely not feeling the greatest.
Oh, and not feeling the greatest racing here at Dover just compounds the issue. And you were talking earlier, Zach, getting loose, being tight all at the same time, and not feeling well, trying to fight the car. I can't imagine that. That's pretty committed to the league and to the race here. Just being able to at least start the race, get some points, and run some laps. So shout out to him. But as we talk here, we got about a minute left here in this qualifying session. It looks like John Curtis is gonna sit there in first as the last couple of cars lay down their qualifying time. So 22.7 looks like it's gonna be the fastest time so far, Zach. That's actually really quick around here, under 23 seconds. And do you think they can lay that consistently, or the fall off on these cars seems to go about a second every 20-25 laps? Do you think we're gonna see that tonight?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a good portion of fall off. Looks like the 7 machine Alex Coffey there we'll see is he'll put it up third on the board here with his qualifying time. But yeah, that I tell you, I think you're going to see a lot of fall off. These times start off in those 22-second mark lap times, but I think a lot of guys are going to be feeling the route to start around about a 23-second lap time to try to really make those tires last. So we'll see how that impacts it, but I do expect to see lap times as far as 25 seconds near the end of this run. And we do have a 72% fuel load here tonight, so that'll definitely be a factor. But it looks like the final 10 seconds here of this qualifying's getting ready to play out, as we only have one driver yet to take time, and that's the 38 of Jamie Plador. Or, sorry, we'll get it right.
Yes, that is a 38 of Jamie Plord. I'll take a shot at that, Zach. Sorry about that, Jamie. If we get that wrong, let us know. Fire us up in the chat, guys. We are ready to go racing as qualifying has concluded, and the drivers are going to grid up for the beginning of this race. But while they get gridded up, we are going to pull up the starting grid and look at the drivers beginning, especially at the front of this field. It is going to be led by the 00 of John Curtis. 17, Gavin Rogers sitting there in second. Alex Coffey in third. Stefan Borbell in fourth, and Jimmy Kubanek in fifth. Blaine Wilson's going to sit there in sixth. The 40 of Ryan Thomas in seventh. Mason Houseman in eighth. Chad Bean in ninth. And rounding up the top 10 is Adam Buzzio.
In the 11th position, it's going to be Eric Hawk. 12th is going to go to Christian DeRoches. 13th is going to be Matthew Slunder. 14th is going to go to Richard Wilshire. 15th is going to go to Steve T. Cole. 16th is going to be Mike Thomas. 17th is going to go to Nigel Christensen. And rounding out the field is the 18th position of Jamie Plord.
And these guys are getting ready to go here for 200 laps. As mentioned before, 3 stages. The first stage will conclude at lap 60. The second stage will conclude at 120, and then another 80 lap run to the end, really marking 200 laps, 200 miles at this monster track. Concrete surface, and the weather's actually really cool considering the kind of sunshine. Looks like it's partly cloudy, but 72 airfield, 95 degrees of the track, and it's going to decrease with that grip, with that lack of temperature. Zach, will these drivers be a little more aggressive on these restarts?
Well, it actually might be a little bit tougher on these restarts due to this cooler temperatures, not wanting to get as much heat build up in these tires, and we know how cool tires can be here on these Gen 7 cars. They are very wicked evil, and we could be looking for some big moments there. But that lower temperature will also lead to a quicker overall pace, but also lead to a little bit of a different balance shift. So we'll see if those temperatures change throughout the night. What could it play out here at Dover as they pull off a pit road here and try to get stuff rolling here under these pace laps for the initial start of this race? And Curtis out front here leading the way. Gonna look to do what similar he did there at the LA Coliseum.
And following close behind, as we noted in the Coliseum as well, is the 7 of Alex Coffey. They had a couple of bump and runs between each other, a couple of spinouts, so we are really excited to see what kind of show they're going to put on for us tonight here at the Freaky broadcast. So, race fans, I'm really glad you came out to join us tonight. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, never miss a time we go live, and make sure your notifications are on. But here we go, the Wicked Racing League at Dover, the Valley Office Systems 200. The pace car leading the field. Lights are off right now, getting ready to make that dive onto pit lane, and we are about to go green flag racing. Barney has the green flag in hand, and we are just waiting for the signal. The long trek down turn 4, and we are away, Zach, here at Dover, and they both get a really, really good restart side by side as we ride along with Stefan Borbell side by side into turn 1. Borbell taking the outside line, with the 77 taking that inside line, and we are starting to get single file in the top 3 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Jimmy Kubinek there on that inside line trying to make it happen there for a top 5 spot. But that 19 there, Stefan Borbell fighting strong as it's going to be side by side. Actually, back there, looks like possibly it was Blaine Wilson in the 18 got into the outside wall for 4, so already some contact with the wall here in the opening laps here at Dover.
And that was one thing I was noticing, Zach, watching practice. These guys are trying to maximize every inch of this track, trying to get that arc that they are looking for. And with the installation of that safety barrier, it really decreases the arc that you can get on these corners. You're really having to attack them differently. And you can see that here as we all get single file right now. These guys are just trying to maximize all the racing surface, get their line, and trying to settle in for about 60 laps into the first caution.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how all these drivers settle in here early in the going of this first stage. Is right now everybody stacked up single file throughout majority of the field. As right now one of the battles going on is Eric Hawk in the 22 back in the 12th position. He actually just made the pass on Christian DeRoches there off of 2, and right now still single file throughout the field here, 4 laps in.
And these guys went single file really quick. They've had some time to practice. It looks like it's really worked out for them because they've gotten their cars underneath them, and they are running really at least solid pace laps. So it's still right around the 23-second mark, so not too shabby for field racing. But right now, battle for the top position is under fire. The 17 car, Gavin Rogers, just got passed by the 7 of Alex Coffey at the front, and Alex Coffey is looking to make a move on our leader, John Curtis, here, looking into turn 1 with a great run down the front straightaway. And here we are, Zach, on board with the 17 of Gavin Rogers, looking forward at this battle. Sometimes you can only look back and just wonder how you got past and see how you can think about opening up a window from the cars in front. You hope you can make a pass when they make a mistake as well.
No, definitely is. It's sometimes even a cat and mouse game here of, trying not to push too hard here to burn up your tires. As John Curtis is out front right now, hasn't really opened up the gap there as he's got Alex Coffey over the back bumper. John, he wants to be able to hold this lead and keep that clean air, but at the same time, doesn't want to use up too much tire. It's always, that management game as a driver of what do you want to have? And right now, Coffey putting the pressure on. He's going to look to the inside here, heading down into 1 here on lap 8 and try to take this lead early into the race.
And it looks like Curtis is just going to give that position away, which is smart. We're only on lap 8, 200 laps to go, 2 stage breaks left in the race. It's just, like you said, Zach, cat and mouse, a little bit of strategy, save the fuel, save the tires a little bit, and endure this race because things are going to change as the day goes on, as the track wears, the rubber gets inlaid into the track. Just everything's going to change as the race goes on. Right now, patience is a virtue, and John Curtis showed it there in spades.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he'll be trying to get that back later there as Behind that group there, it's going to be, looks like Ryan M. Thomas in that 40 machine. He's going to be trying to make a move on Stefan Borbell for that 4th position to move his way forward and try to challenge with those top 3, but still side by side through 1 and 2. The 19s fought strong on that outside for majority of the start of this race in the first 10 laps. But right now, that 40 challenging very strongly on the bottom. Looks like this time through 3 and 4 might be his chance to clear, but that 19 might be able to hold it there, but just cannot.
And Ryan Thomas started there in 7th and now made that pass 4th position. So Ryan Thomas might not have put down his best qualifying effort, and he's driving up to the front where it looks like he's gaining a little bit on that front group of 3 of Coffee, Curtis, and Rogers as they battle up front. He actually looks to be closing that gap between the 17 of Gavin Rogers, so the 40 of Ryan Thomas on a mission early on in this run, but keeping it clean. So these guys racing hard, but racing clean and making some passes.
Yeah, and Thomas had a really good run at the Coliseum, was showing a lot of pace, just unfortunately had some misfortune go down for him and could not get the finish he wanted to have. So great job by him there. But look at this 56 machine here, trying to Richard Wolfshire trying to make the pass here on Christian DeRoches. This is for the 11th spot. Almost some contact there. They are into the wall, and Christian keeps it going straight, but Richard's got the slot back now as Matthew Slunder in the 15. He's going to look to the inside of the 56 here, coming out too.
And as mentioned before, sometimes just waiting on and mistaken. Wolcifer in the wall again in turn 2. And you mentioned earlier, Zach, turn 2 and turn 4 are going to be dangerous. And we just saw one of the first victims of Miles the Monster here at Dover. The 56 in the outside wall. The 20 got a little squirrely there down the front straightaway. So already we see some cars really loose right now as we look at the one car here just running around. Looks like people are trying to make some pit stops going through pit road already. This is interesting if true, but the Sluter there, the 15, slow around the track.
Yeah, and I think he broke his left front. He actually got loose coming off of 4 and went down the racetrack into the inside walls, broke his left front suspension, so he's going to be bringing that car to pit road. They do have one fast repair here at the league, and we'll see. You know, he'll most likely be elected to take that there. It'll be a lot longer there if they'd have to just fix that the manual way. But Matthew Slunder already here on pit road.
As is Eric Hauk. He's there on pit road. He's finally exited, but he looks like he's going to be 4 laps down. So that might have been an incident, but no flag. Good. Everyone keeps rolling here, but looks like we have some separation. We have our front 3, then another pack of 4. This is for 4th place. Adam Buzzio moving up from 10th into 7th in the 21, doing really well for himself and looking to make a pass on the 77. Jimmy Kubinek on the outside, so that outside line actually proving to start coming in. We've seen a couple drivers use it, and here we see Adam Buzzio using it well to his advantage and actually maybe looking to complete the pass here coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, Adam Buzzio really making a charge around that top side. Just couldn't get clear of that 77 of Jimmy Kubinek, but still trying to make that pass happen. And Buzzio's really been making some noise up from that 10th starting spot, now up to 6. And look, he's going to look to bring Blaine Wilson in the 18 with him as he looks to the outside of the 77 of Kubinek behind this group. And he's going to make the pass here in 3. So great job by Blaine Wilson in the 18 to move himself up to that 7th position.
And on the opposite end of that, Jimmy Kubinek started in 5th, is now in 8th position, falling back. But right now, the 21 getting around the lap car of the... Oh, no, that is around the 40. As we see Jimmy Kubinek have an issue down the back straightaway and have to get out of the throttle there. But it looks like the 40 had an incident as well, and that is helping Adam Buzzio and the 18 of Blaine Wilson get around him right now going into 1.
Yeah, Thomas there really slow there in the 40 machine, having a mistake, and that's going to let, like you said, Buzzio up to 5th, and now Thomas looking to possibly go 6th to Wilson as they head into 3. But right now, the gaps are starting to open up. Our top 3 has opened up about a 3-second gap back to this group. As it looks like finally the 40 will get passed by that 18.
And that took a while. That took about 2 laps to finally if you work itself out after that mistake, it's so hard to get that momentum back once you've lost it. And as we see there, you can lose 2, 3, even 4 spots, even with a spread out field such as this second. As we see the 20 slow on the apron. We don't have a flag out yet. That is on the exit of turn 2, the pit exit, but it looks like we're going to stay green, and he's going to blend into traffic here. So no harm, no foul.
Yeah, and I think that was actually a similar thing that happened to the 15 Matthew Slunder. He got loose out of turn number 4 once again, got into the inside wall, had to come to pit road to get that car fixed, and then when he exited out of pit road, he had a little bit of a mistake there. It's actually a really treacherous exit of pit road here. Not a lot of grip on that access road, very bumpy, and I can tell you with the way these Gen 7 next gen cars are, they really do not like the bumps on the access road at slow speeds. They're very, very tough to go over, but you can see here, Christensen looks like he may be coming back down the pit road here as that 20 may be calling it a night. Like we said, under the weather racing here tonight, trying to get the most out of what he could, but at the moment, it's been a tough start.
Tough start indeed, but you got to applaud him for giving it a shot and trying his best coming out here. If he doesn't come back, well, congratulations, 20. You did your best, and hope to see it next week. But these guys right now, the 19 of Stefan Borbell, so far has kind of only lost a couple of spots from where he started, and we're going to just get ready to see him go through these paces as he hunts down the 18 of Blaine Wilson there. He's got a really solid line. He's not torquing too hard on the wheel, and he's just kind of staying calm, not getting overwhelmed, and just racing the track. It looks like not racing the drivers, but racing the track right now.
Yeah, he did a good job right here, starting 4th and slid back to 6th, but that could be a little bit of a good strategy for him there, is trying to make the most use out of those Goodyear tires as they continue to race here under green. And always cool to see the driver cams here on Freaky Fast, to see the driver set up, and you can see Stefan, he's having a good time here tonight and doing a great job here in the top 6 positions, about 5 seconds back from our leader of Alex Coffey.
Yeah, only 5 seconds back. We are on lap 27. We're about halfway through this stage, so 60 laps through a full stage, Zach. We have, you said 72% fuel load. Will that put them right there, or were we going to have to worry about green flag stops right now before the stage ends?
Personally, I'm thinking green flag stops are probably going to be playing out here at some point. 72% fuel load is not the highest amount. We're used to a normal 20-gallon fuel tank here, so only getting 72% of that full 20 gallons there, and that's going to really have an effect on these drivers. So they're going to be trying to decide when they're going to come in, and I'm telling you already, I think I'm seeing a few drivers decide to do it now, and Ryan Thomas is one of those in the 40 machine. So yeah, pit stop starting to happen here around lap 28, and that kind of makes sense. This is halfway before that stage, and like I said, I don't see him getting to that lap 60 point with 72% fuel.
Well, this is definitely going to be interesting because, yep, we see a lot of cars come to pit road. The 40, the 38 is going to follow suit down pit road to get some fuel and tires. And we've seen some of these cars get squirrely. They've banged on the outside wall just a little bit. Would you take that time to repair that damage under green, or does aero not mean that much in these next-gen cars with how sturdy this body is built and how well some of these retainer barriers really absorb some of that momentum?
Well, I'll tell you, this car is very resilient. It definitely is. As I think we're watching here now, the battle for our lead is Coffey's trying to hold off his teammate Curtis there. There's 1-2 position there, up a second and a half on the rest of the field, but yeah, Carl, it's a resilient car. It really can hit the wall pretty hard and not take too much body damage. The thing we actually, I think, concern ourselves with the most as a driver with the damage is breaking the suspension. We've seen these toe links and these front wheels be a huge factor. Even the rear wheels, if they get hit a certain way, it just takes a certain hit on the wall and they will snap. And that'll end your day real quick. So definitely don't want to be doing that. But if you have minor damage, I think under these green flag stops, you're not going to be wanting to give up the time. It's not going to be really worth it to get 10 seconds, 15 seconds of damage fixed on your car. That's going to be way too much time given up. You're going to want to get to that stage break there. Once that yellow comes out for that stage break, that is when you'll come down, get that car repaired at that point, and try to figure it out. But riding on board here with John Curtis, he's trying to close it down, but he's kept it about the same here for majority of the time, about 67 tenths. but Coffee out front has done an excellent job.
He has done an excellent job indeed. He's let Curtis get to about 4/10 away, but that is been switch out, as you have said, is about 7/10 away from the leader is John Curtis. And that 7 really smooth on the throttle, but so is the 17 of Gavin Rogers. Gavin Rogers qualified second. He's sitting there in third. He's doing really well for himself, just kind of hanging out, feeling out the track. Again, we're now over halfway through to the rest of this stage, so lap 35 now out of 60 in the first stage. So these guys already thinking about how they're doing their pit stops, and you always know, Zach, pit stops, especially green flag pit stops, can mean mistakes, speeding mistakes and speeding penalties. As we watch the 40 try and get a lap back here, he just claws through the field, passing the third place car of Rogers, setting his sights on the leaders to get a lap back. But right now, you see how much with that pass new tires mean on this track, Zach. So this could be really interesting in the strategy as the race goes on.
No doubt, new tires are everything at this racetrack. I mean, you're looking at lap times. Our leaders are running right now 24.94. So you're looking at really about 2 seconds of fall off here tonight in this racetrack, and that'll show very quickly when it's a 22-second lap around here. So definitely very quick closing rates for those guys on new tires, as I can confirm Thomas now getting back to 1 lap down as he's past the leaders. But it's still interesting to see. Our leaders have not yet pit lap here at lap 37. We'll see what type of strategy they pull. Maybe they think they can stretch it to that lap 60 marker, or are they trying to place a bet here to say, you know, hey, we won't take no tires?
Well, there's also, between the three of them, there's a huge gap between fourth place of Adam Buzzio, almost a 2.5 second gap between those drivers. So, I mean, how hard in reality would it be to save at a track such as Dover, be able to get out of the throttle just a little bit early, stay out of the throttle a little bit more, and just wait to get in the throttle in turn 4, especially with older tires. So who's to say maybe they can't play a game and make it to this stage already? Pit strategy and field strategy coming to a T already here at the Wicked Racing League, as we are looking at that 78 machine still on the lead lap, hasn't pit yet. That is Mason Houseman there, and he's in 6th position, and just riding around and doing really well with all these cycling stops. We'll see where he ends up after it all cycles.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all cycles through, but at the moment, still, not many drivers have decided to hit pit road. It's still 11 drivers on the lead lap at the moment. Kristen Desroches, the last car on that lead lap position, but man, we'll see when the group elects to do it. But this is a track you can save fuel for, Carl. It's literally a place where you can lift so much and roll through these corners to just even help save tires. Not only that, but through these corners to really save some fuel. So we'll see if they could possibly have stretched it to this point. Maybe some drivers felt like the tires were worth it to come back around, but we'll see as we near that stage break there at lap 60.
And that is so difficult to judge unless you're actually racing it. It looks like a lot of the drivers who have elected to take pit road already have lost 2 laps to the leader. So 1 lap you can overcome, and not too big of an issue. Once you get 2 laps down, that becomes a little bit harder, as we see. I think that is the 56. That's 96 there, getting in the outside wall coming out of turn 2. Had a little bit of an incident, but he was able to gather it up and continue on. And he is, you see behind him another car hard into the outside wall, and that just goes to show what kind of a beating these cars can take.
Yeah, they can really take a hard hit, and it's, luckily for Christian there, no problems from behind there behind Steve Cole there. So Christian is lucky to get away with minimal damage after getting into the outside wall, but definitely holding on to that race car here in this final portion. Is you're going to see a car here storming up through. That's the 56 of Richard. He's trying to drive up through here on those fresh tires, and you can see the difference here. It's too wide up ahead of him. What is he going to do here on the 2?
And that was a close call there with the 9 in front of him. And it looks like the 9 had to get out of the throttle. Had a little bit of bumper-to-bumper action there, the 56, but he's now going to take turn 3 and get around. And look at that launch. He just has a turn 2. Just a great comparison to speed, new tires versus old here at the Monster Mile. But these guys running hard, and so far 45 on lap 45 out of 60 this first stage. Doesn't look like these leaders intend to pit, so here we go. The 40 making moves on slower cars as well, below the 19 of Stefan Orbell, and he is trying to get another lap back himself, so already almost 2 laps out of the hole.
Yeah, climbing back out of that hole that he has put himself in. Caution is out on the speedway here, and we'll have to see what has brought that out. But I think it's the number 9 of Chad Bean here. He is broken on the front straightaway. Smoke is coming from the back of that machine. I think it may have been a little bit of contact off of 4.
And we are going to go to the Freaky Fast instant replay. We see the 9 of Chad Bean coming out of 4. There's the 23 of Christian Giroches underneath him, and he just runs out of room, comes down, and gets turned around into the inside wall, and he's going to take heavy damage. And if he hasn't used that fast repair before, he's going to use it now because that car is dead on the track almost.
Yeah, that thing is toast for sure. Is just unfortunately bouncing off the wall there for the 9, and Christian in the 23 there was just in the inside line below him, nowhere for him to go. Bounces off the outside wall. There's Chad Bean right into the 23. It turns him down into that inside wall, and man, what damage right there. That's going to be a lot to work on his car. Like you said, hoping for a fast repair, and I believe he should still have that one there, as it should be his first pit stop of the night. Coming to pit road is looks like a lot of drivers deciding to make it happen. Looks like Mason Osman out front stays out. Jimmy Kubanek also. Those two looking like to be the only 2 drivers should stay out on the lead lap.
And here we go, strategy. That was, we only have about 12 laps to go until the stage break. So a lot of these drivers looking to get a lap back, trying to get to the stage break, trying to get some stage points as well. With Mason Hausman and Jimmy Kubanek with some incidents earlier, maybe not the best qualify spots, but right now they're in a good spot to gather some stage points. With 2 stages every race, those points are going to be ever more critical, as we've seen when the playoffs get closer, and these guys already thinking about the long term, always going looking for those points for the playoffs. So these drivers use a strategy early on in the season to make sure they can have that championship run.
All about how you build your regular season for that championship run. So we'll see how you can build that best resume heading into that point. But season opener here tonight, Dover started off well. First 45 laps pretty much of this race were completely green. Then we got a quick caution now, pacing around Dover, looking for that stage caution still for that stage number 1 caution there at lap 60. So still have got that point to come. But I tell you what, this just means the intensity level is about to ramp up a little bit here.
The intensity indeed, and these guys are going to be pushing it a little harder this time, I feel. And ladies and gentlemen, you want to feel that intensity yourself, you have to head down to buttkicker.com. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The Buttkicker get to let you feel every detail, from footsteps to a rumble of a race car. You feel the bumps here at Dover. It moves a physical mass instead of a speaker, and it provides the haptic transition that you want, the intense feel that you want. And you can go to Buttkicker right now, pick one up, use the discount code FreakyFast20 for 20% off your entire order. I know I love mine, but these guys, Zach, here we go at Dover, thinking about the stage break that's going to come out about 11 laps, and thinking about those playoff points. As Mason Hausman and Jimmy Kubanek are on older tires, but the 7 of Alex Kaufman and the 40 of Ryan Thomas look like to be on newer tires behind them. So this is going to be a really interesting start to this this next stint of the race. How they get to the stage, will we do it caution free?
Yeah, it's gonna that's gonna be a good question to see if they can get to that point without another yellow. But we had a good run there before, but now we're gonna have 2 cars out front on older set of tires. It's gonna be Coffee and Curtis in that second row on the fresh tires. You got Rogers there back in 5th, Buzzio in 6th. It's gonna be a little bit of a log jam here once we get going with those old tires on the front row, but we'll see how it works out once we look to go back green flag racing here at the Wicked Racing League.
We will see indeed here shortly. They are side by side gridded up. The lights on the pace car are out, so we are going to see him make a little trip down pit lane, and we are going to get this race under green momentarily, and all these drivers nipping at the bit here, trying to get ready to go, all lined up. Have to maintain speed until that flag waves, till that restart zone we've been hearing so much about. And there they are, off and away. The 78 gets a little bit squirrely there on the restart. Maybe had a little bit of wheel spin, but he's going to break away in first. But Alex Coffey taking that second position away and moving up right away is he coming out of turn 4. And already Alex Coffey making a pass for the lead, followed closely by John Curtis.
Yeah, those two did a masterful job to power around the outside and get to that lead. But here comes Gavin Rogers. Also, he looks to get to Curtis's inside off of turn number 4, and he makes it happen as he's going to make the pass for second into 1. And now Curtis going to slot back to third, as what a pass it was by Gavin Rogers there in that 17.
Curtis ran out of room there out of turn 4. Got into the wall a little bit, but gathered it up really well and was already trying to gain some time on the bumper of that 17 as we look further on back down the field. Adam Buzzio in 4th position. Ooh, another car behind him getting hit, getting a good lick into the wall out of turn 4. So turn 4 and turn 2, Zach, you called it earlier in the race. They were going to be our problem corners, and a lot of these drivers having an issue with the way the corner exits are here at this track.
Yeah, it's always an interesting feeling here at Dover. It's almost like you get slung out of a bowl, kind of, I guess you could say, it's out of the corners. And what it really is it's the load and the weight of that car unloading as you come up over the humps on these exits that really transition that car into really slinging out towards that wall and getting a little bit scary for each of these guys. So really hard to decipher when you're in the car what the car is going to do. Sometimes is look in there into the outside wall. Looks like that was for the 21 machine of Buzzio. But again, these cars were resilient. That little hit like that into Gen 6 before would have been actually a major incident and would have slowed you down a good portion to having that damage. This car, though, is a little bit more resilient. You can take those hits a few more times before that damage is really going to hinder you.
Resilient, and that's what they were going for. So we see Buzzio getting to that wall just a little bit again, but right now a battle for the lead starting to heat up. Gavin Rogers has been the fastest car on the track the past couple of laps, and he is now tracking down our leader, the 7 of Alex Coffey right now, and he is doing it slowly but surely as he is trying to chase down Alex Coffey for that lead at the moment. It's not very easy. We ride along here with the 17 on his roof. You can see the different lines both of these drivers are running it right there, getting right up against that wall, widening out that exit, making sure you're using that much track as he can, and following him back down into turn 3, coming out of 4. And there it is again. You can see that transition you were talking about, Zach. That is huge. Weight distribution, weight lifting off of the suspension and the tires, making that car so close.
Yeah, it really does. When the car has the weight on it and the load in the center of the corner, when you drop off in this corner, the gravity and the centrifugal force just shoves you down into that banking. And as you come up out of it, all of that launches up, and the car just really unloads all the spring rate, and it really loses a lot of grip and a lot of weight onto those tires. So it gets definitely a little treacherous there on these exits, but Rogers is dealing with the thing that's most treacherous here at Dover, and that is dirty air. This place very notorious for being hard to follow and hard to make passes when somebody has a good run out front. And right now, Coffey running strong here, looking to win this stage as we're on lap 59.
Lap 59, looking for those stage point. John Curtis trying to stave off some bleeding of an earlier mistake. Here we are. Jimmy Kubanek didn't take tires at the stage break. He is trying to hold on to every position he can, but he has fallen all the way down to 10th in that last spot for a playoff point. And so the 96 is really trying to make that pass for that 10th position, getting that last playoff, at least that last bonus point for the playoffs. But right now it doesn't look like he's gonna make it as we hit lap 60. There may be one more lap to go, so if the 96 is gonna make a pass, he's got to do it in these next couple of corners as the 7 looks to come around and complete lap 60. So already we should see the yellow for the stage, and there it is, Zach. Stage 1 in the books for this Wicked Racing League.
Yeah, it was a great first stage here at Dover, great first stage of the season, and Alex Coffey going to be the first stage winner of our season here for the Wicked Racing League, and he'll be happy to have that one for sure for him there at Dover's a tough place, Carl.
Dover is a tough place indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back. We're going to let these guys do their pit service, get some tires, get some fuel. We ourselves are going to get a pit service, and we will be right back for the beginning of stage 2. And welcome back, race fans. We are here at the stage break, lap 64. So we have 63 laps in the books here at Dover for the Wicked Racing League. These guys have been going at it. Only one caution for incident, and that was later on in the first stage, Jack. I really have to applaud these drivers. I know after the last race of the Clash, there was a lot of ifs and buts and a lot of bent fenders, honestly, and there was a main point for them to come back into Dover and have a clean race, and they have come out and really delivered some really good, really clean racing, but really hard racing. We see some of these drivers ebb and flow, and right now being side by side again, getting ready for a restart. These guys looking good to go green to the end of the next stage.
Yeah, I would not doubt seeing that with this group here tonight. They've been very, very clean for sure, and been great racing too. So it's been fun to watch. We'll have to see what they can do to get to that lap 120 stage there. See how they can make the tires and the fuel last here. But man, it's been fun to watch, and definitely a major, major up from last week at LA Coliseum. But again, the LA Coliseum, that's what you gotta expect, is beating and banging and a lot of those yellow flags flying. So not surprised from that, but here at Dover tonight, this season opener, it's been fantastic.
Fantastic indeed, and we are about to get back at it as the pace car has dove down through pit lane and is in the hands of the 7. The 7 gets a great launch off the inside line. Green flag in the air. He's going to be uncontested for that first position, but second place not so much. The 17, Gavin Rogers, looks to take that spot away, and the 21, Adam Buzzio, looks to take another spot away from John Curtis. So John Curtis struggling here early on in this run at the at Dover.
Yeah, after that win at LA Coliseum last week was in the qualifying pole, you would expect him to try to be able to keep it up in that top 3, but Buzzio says, no, sir, not indeed. I'm up from that 10th spot to 3rd here for him, so great job there. But the race for the lead up front, Gavin Rogers, he's made the attacking move there on the 7, Alex Coffey. He's trying to make it happen as they head down to 3 and 4, but Coffey is not going to give this up easy. This is going to be a titanic battle here off of turn 4.
And it looks like Coffey is going to run out of track just a little bit, have a brush with the wall, but they are still side by side going into 1. It looks like the 17 is going to stretch it out just a little bit, and Alex Coffey going to take a dive and get in line behind the 17. So now the 17 and Clean Air went from 3rd to 1st through a couple of pit cycles with that stage break and already out here in the lead. He did have the fastest lap here earlier on, and he is just really burning up those tires as he goes through. And right now the battle for 3rd, Adam Buzzio under attack by Ryan Thomas in the 40, and the 40 gonna make a move here in turn 3. So the 40, like we saw, was one of those cars in the first stage that came down pit road early and got tires and fuel, but here he is beginning of the second stage in 3rd.
Yeah, he's flying up through the field, no doubt. And you know, the reason why I think you're seeing a lot of this right here is this number 7 machine here, Alex Coffey and John Curtis, both no tire stops for them, only fuel. So they elected to use the same tires they put on there right before the stage for that little 10-lap shootout there, and they're paying the price for it right now. But they will have an extra set compared to this group for later on in this race. But definitely right now, those new tires showing out to be the thing that is working the most, as Thomas in the 40 is charging up through the field up to 2nd.
Up to 2nd, and right now he is the fastest car on the track, and he is making no time at all getting through these corners with those fresher tires, hoping to make a pounce on that first position here momentarily. But with this, all this racing, Adam Buzzio keeping everyone in tow as well, seeing the bumper of the 7 to 7 trying to hang on to that 3rd spot, but with a fuel only stop makes things a little difficult. But I think he took 4 tires, so we'll see. Adam with Alex Coffey there with a 5.1 second pit stop. That was definitely either 2 tires or just fuel, like you said, Zach.
Yeah, I can confirm just fuel for that 7 machine and the 00. Those 2 are the ones that elected to do it, but the 40's going around, and we're under a caution here as we got a major wreck coming off of turn 2.
Major wreck indeed, and only a couple laps into the run. Looks like he got a little too earnest there with the cold tires. You mentioned it, Zach, these tires actually take a couple laps longer than the Gen 6 do to warm up and get that grip, and that might have been just what we watched as we pull up the Freaky Fast instant replay. Looks like the 7 almost got into there, but he's going to clip that apron just a little bit, and that it will be enough to send that 40 car around coming onto the corner exit. And Zach, without that corner being painted, without that berm, that apron being painted, how easy is it to clip that and overdrive the corner?
It's actually very easy, and actually that painted line is a little bit off. It's not perfect, as you're actually going to see a few more hits come through actually too here for this wreck, as a couple guys just couldn't get one up. You see a car there bouncing off the wall trying to get slowed. You're going to see another almost head-on collision up here coming, as I think the smoke blinded a few guys. As just coming into the picture, there's again a head-on collision there for that 40 there, with one of the cars coming through that pack, and then another car going to come through here and get him. So multiple guys piling in here late into this wreck. But man, it's definitely tough. But back to, your question, Carl, about the painted line. That line is not exactly where the apron starts. That line is not perfectly there. That apron actually starts a little bit on that white line. So you can try to get all the way to the bottom of that white line, but you'll actually start to be on the apron, and it can be deceiving. And all it takes is one little step out, and like that, the 40 went around. And man, oh man, it's a tough ordeal for him there. As you're gonna see, here from the head on shot here is from this car, and just a major collision head on there for that 40.
That is just unfortunate. And then with all the other drivers just getting stacked in there, you seeing everyone just having nowhere to go. And that's just an unfortunate incident for the 9 of Chad Bean. And he was just back there because he caused the last caution. He got on the inside wall and had an incident on lap right around 40. So that just goes to show that track position is ever so powerful and ever so important. It's any track you really go to, but some of these narrower tracks, these shorter tracks, such as the Monster Mile here, it can be ever that much more important.
Yeah, it really can be, and I can confirm that driver we rode on board with that had the head-on collision with the 40 Ryan Thomas. That was Chad Bean, and we got to remember he already had used a fast repair early in this race, so he's gonna have to get that car fixed the manual way now after using that one fast fix on his race car. So tough ordeal for him there, but man, oh man, this is a interesting timing for that caution, and it's definitely set up some interesting scenarios here. As it looks like Coffee and Curtis, they said, you know what, we didn't use those tires now. We're gonna come down this next time by, and they got the tires there. So looks like they'll also be starting fifth and sixth. So really did not lose out too many spots. Really only dropped from third and fifth position back to fifth and sixth.
And there's only about a 12 lap difference, 12 lap separation from these sets of tires. So I'm really interested to see how we're going to, how these tires are going to compare to each other with only 12 laps. We mentioned the fall off here can be quite intense at about 35 laps, about 2 seconds, but will 12 laps be the difference, as there's only about 4 cars that did not pit that last round?
Well, you also got to see how big a difference it was before there, before for Alex Coffey and Curtis, and also they were very very strong. You know, at the front of this field for majority of that first run. Now going to be on fresher tires. This is going to set them up well for the end of the second stage, and it really sets them up to where they're probably very very confident on fuel getting to the end of that stage. So we'll see how that works out. I think this caution will help drivers who had pit at the stage there to make it to 120, but we'll have to see how it all works out. It's going to be fun to watch because Coffee and Curtis there in that third row are going to be making big moves to try to get to this lead, I think, here and get back out front where that clean air is so valuable.
So valuable indeed. And with the second place of Adam Buzzio and the fourth place of Christian DeRoche, some of the biggest movers of the night. Adam starting in 10th and Christian starting in 12th, so moving up 8 spots, both of them doing really well, getting themselves, using strategy, getting to the front of the field here in the second row, first and second row respectively on the outside. But right now getting ready for this restart, seems to be in a good position. Full of fuel, we should be good to go to the end of the stage as we watch the pace car drive on by. Field in the hands of Gavin Rogers at 17 Ford Mustang, and we are in the restart zone and away. The 17 got a pretty decent restart. The 19 behind him did not, though, and that's going to stack up the field going down into turn 1 with Adam Buzzio hot on the heels of the 17 and side by side for third on back, as you see Alex Coffey on the inside of the 19 with Stefan Borbell and can't quite make it stick. So already moves being made, new tires versus old tires.
Yeah, you can see Coffee really trying to use the most of those tires here and get himself up to that lead position, already up the third, as he's going to have Buzzio on the back foot here going down into 1, and he's going to look to the inside as now Curtis. He's going to be also looking on Borbell here off the exit of 2. The new tires here proven to be a mighty advantage here for this 0-0 and 7.
Mighty indeed, and that's just going to make stage 3 even that much more interesting, as we still have about 40 laps in this stage left, as we see the 7 trying to make a move on the inside of Rogers for the lead and can't quite make it stick. Rogers kind of driving where Alex Coffey is trying to take his line and really taking Alex's line away from him, but Alex gets a really hard dive down deep into turn 3, and he is going to get on the bumper of the 17 for the lead. And here we go, Alex Coffey and Gavin Rogers down the front straightaway into turn 1. The number 7 on the inside, fighting hard against the 17 on the outside. The 17 just doesn't have the grip level that the 7 does. We can't quite clear them. They are still side by side going into turn 3.
Yeah, you got to give it up to Gavin Rogers here, still fighting strong with the older tires. Going to look to possibly cross over this 7 and look to the inside here going into 1, and does do that, but just not going to be enough. Has to slot back in and slide back into second now as Curtis up to third. He's going to be charging up with the tires, looking to possibly get this 17, but got to give the 17 credit there. Fought so hard on the older tires, but just did not have enough grip level to hold back that 7 machine. As now here comes the 00 off the exit of 4, is going to have a big run.
Yes, the 00 is looking to make a pass for that second place and hunt down that 7 of Alex. So we are going to go and look at the 21 of Adam Buzzio, and we see that focus as he is battling back there in 4th position, just kind of cruising on those older tires, not losing too much time to the 19 of Stefan Borbel behind him. So looking like Adam Buzzio putting on a good show in the top 5.
That he is. He really is doing a great job tonight. I mean, from that 10th starting spot, he's drove into the top 5 and has never looked back. I mean, personally, at some points has looked to possibly be up into the top 3. So we'll see if he can try to make that happen here at some point tonight. But at the moment, looking strong and running a very smooth wheel there at the moment. As always cool to see again the driver cam there. Is good to see also the collection of drivers and the stuff they have on their walls, and also just, you know, the one thing our producer just pointed out is you get to see the force feedback here. And Dover is a place where it is very bumpy. It's very brutal. There's a lot of loading up of the car, and that's where you're going to feel a lot of those forces in that wheel with the force feedback that Iris provides us. And you can see Adam really having to fight that wheel left and right through these corners.
Definitely fight, and it doesn't matter how smooth of a line you have, those bumps can really throw you through a loop anytime at any point in this track. And we saw there, I don't know if his force feedback was turned up a bit. You like to feel that bumps, but man, I know after a few laps of this track, my shoulders and arms get sore after so many bumps and everything. But he's handling it really well and being able to just kind of sit there and cruise in 4th position. As right now, John Curtis is trying to get up to that 7, but right now the gap is about 1.5 seconds and actually growing. So Alex Coffey, one of the fastest cars on the track right now.
Yeah, Coffey is just having an excellent night here at Dover. I mean, it's just been spectacular all night long here for this 7 machine. Is never really looked back since he's got to the lead. You know, when you're at Dover as a broadcaster myself, and being a driver myself, whenever I see drivers storm up through the field and really like make big moves to get to the lead and storm out to that lead here at Dover, it always concerns me a little bit. But Alex Coffey, he's definitely got rid of those concerns for me. He has showed that his pace sticks for the longer portion of the run, and that's what really matters. If you can go out there, run fast, and keep that pace up. Some contact there between the 18 of Blaine Wilson there. Looks like he got up into that 19, I believe, Stefan Borbel there. It's going to slot him back. There's Mason Halsman there was the car on that outside. Now Stefan Borbel is the driver trying to take that position from there in the 19, and man, Blaine Wilson getting the elbows out there to get up to the top 5.
That was definitely a tricky situation. They were kind of, I think Wilson was hoping for a little more space, and the 78 just didn't have any more space to give. And that was almost an incident we saw earlier with the 9 of Chad Bean on lap 40, trying to take a little more space that just wasn't there. And that actually ended up much, much nicer than that other one. But these guys, you saw the 78 fall back, the 78 of Hausman fall back really far, but only lost that one position to Wilson and not the one behind. But the 19 did look for it. So you got to be careful making those mistakes. You never know how far you can fall.
Yeah, this is a place where mistakes will pile up too. So can't let them pile up too much, as at some point it could bite you here as Miles will reach out and grab you. So looking back to Jimmy Kubanek here in the 17 or 77 machine, is you had him in 9th there. You also got the 23 of Christian DeRoches here in 10th. These guys about 11 to 12 seconds back from our leader Alex Coffey at the moment. Is right now having some good runs right on the fringe of this top 10, trying to make the most of it here in this stage number 2 here and score themselves some good points.
Good points indeed, and as you mentioned that we've just crossed the halfway point of the second stage, so still looking for some of those stage points. And using that strategy with that last caution, we do think that they can make it on fuel. So not looking for that, but trying to save those tires is so critical. As we've witnessed these past couple of restarts, Zach, how even a couple of laps are so much different between old and new. And these guys learning it the hard way. As we see Buzzio, looks like he is going to be under attack here, but a bunch of battles going on. Oh, as we see a car down low there, and the 22 is really getting around him. That's a 77 of Kubanek. A really sketchy situation, but all clear right now. And these guys racing hard. It doesn't look like there's no spot. There isn't any action on the track right now as they're all spread out in single file.
Yeah, definitely has been some great racing all around this place. As drivers have been trying to find their groove, but yeah, Kubanek was one of them that was trying to close down that 96 of Steve T. Cole they were watching on cam here in this 8th spot. He's got Kubanek there behind him, who was running some quicker times, but the last few times by, Kubanek's been a little bit slower. So definitely losing ground right now to Steve T. Cole there is Jimmy Kubanek, but that battle for 8th is growing there. So definitely not what they want to see from that. But those tires for Curtis and Coffee have really helped launch and propel them so much farther out this time. It's also going to help them put a few more guys, I think, a lap down possibly for this stage if it stays green.
Oh, definitely. And, there's Mike Thomas is the one a lap down. He's the number 16 right now. He's the first car scored a lap down, so he's lucky in that. But right now, the 7 looking to put the 23 another lap down. The Christian DeRoches, that would be one lap down. So you got to be careful. And that always comes into the etiquette of driving is you get that lucky dog if you stay on the lead lap. So how hard and how far can you push the leaders before they just kind of get tired of you and force their way through you. But they got to know too that you're fighting for that lead lap and wanting that at least that's a lucky dog as well, right?
Oh no doubt. When you come up on a guy that is especially the tail end of that lap, coming up to the stage, they're gonna fight you super hard just to stay on that lead lap. They know how much it can mean, and even as the leader, sometimes you might want to put that guy lap down. It gives you a chance to have a little bit less field to worry about if something was to go wrong with you, and that could possibly be the way you're looking at it. So it's a two-way system, but man, the lap down car or the cars that are possibly looking to go lap down have every right to battle for that lead lap spot, and I think you'll see that here when we get closer. But Christian DeRoches is going to be the first driver that's going to have to battle with our leader, Alex Coffey. And it's still a good portion of the track, still about 5 seconds up the road. But with about, 20, less than 20 laps now left in this stage, it's going to be close between Coffey and Roaches for how the times are.
Close indeed, and what's getting closer as well is the gap between our first and second place cars. It was a second and a half, but right now it's shrunk to just around a second, as looks like the battle for third is heating up as well. Adam Buzzio trying to make a pass on the 17 of Gavin Rogers in that Mustang. These guys, getting squirrely there of turn 4. Adam Buzzio having to get out of the throttle and couldn't complete the pass, but he's going to continue on and stick to the inside line there of the 17, trying to, gets a little loose there on corner exit. So Adam Buzzio looks like he's going to lose a spot to Blaine Wilson there in the 18 with that mistake. And Blaine Wilson kind of going through the field, started 6th and 5th, had some incidents, but right now making some passes and moving forward.
Yeah, and he's running times as quick as our leader, Coffey, who's getting run down by John Curtis right now. So right now, Blaine Wilson running really good lap times. He's closing out Gavin Rogers. It could be looking to be a top 3 here for him in this stage if it was to stay green. He's looking very strong here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. But I tell you what, that lead battle, it's starting to close down too. John Curtis now within 4/10 of Alex Coffey.
4/10, and he's been just chipping away a 10th here, a 10th there, past couple of laps, and he is getting there. But the problem is he's getting to the point of the 7 car where he's getting into that wake, into that dirty air, and he's kind of stalled out. Can't quite close that gap anymore. So that just goes to prove how hard it is to pass here at Dover, and just how difficult that dirty air is to handle. Even in second place, you can never get too close to the lead. You just got to make sure you have that faster car, and that ensures you get that lead. But right there, about 4/10, 5/10, he's just kind of stalled out on that run.
Yeah, Carl, you're exactly right when you bring that up. It's literally the half-second barrier as I like to call it. You run into that half-second gap behind a guy, and your car completely changes. It is not nowhere near as good as it was, and continuous laps in that dirty air. All it's doing is taking downforce off the nose of your race car. When you have less downforce on that race car, your tires are more prone to slide on that racetrack. And when the tires slide, that causes them to heat up. So when you run in this wake continuously, lap after lap, trying to make pace with that driver up ahead of you, you're actually burning your tires up much more than the driver ahead of you due to the downforce loss you're getting on that nose. So that half-second area is really where you start to feel it a lot in this Gen 7 car, from at least from experience myself. And man, it's tough to deal with. But right now, when we start getting lap traffic here, Kristen Desroches up here ahead of Alex Coffey. He's going to be putting some dirty air on the nose of on that 7 machine, but it most likely won't be for too long.
Maybe not too long, but there are a couple of cars in front. He could be dealing with that dirty air quite possibly to the end of this stage. So how will Alex be able to hold off the 00 and make passes in that dirty air as well? And here we go. We see the 23 have a little issue out of turn 4. The 7 car is able to get under and around the 23. Nice and easy. Looks like the 23 is going to try keep his nose out there but not make it work. Now the 00, John Curtis has to make that move too, and this is slowing both of these guys down. Alex was able to get a good run off of turn 4, but right now John Curtis not able to make that run as we get on board with the 18 car, burning up the bumper of the 17 of Gavin Rogers. These guys have been going at it and closing that gap lap by lap here, very similar to what we've seen in the front. Here we are. That's the 17 car going up the track, opening up the line there for the 18, giving them that downforce. So that's one of those things. Can you take the line away from the guy behind you, or can you only run your line? It looks like the 17's focused on running his line, and as we see, the 18 get a great run up to the bumper. We will see as we go down the front stretch into turn 1 how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. Does that 17 elect to take the line away? But I think you're right, Carl. He can't run that line. He's really struggling to keep his car on the bottom of the racetrack. That's opening the door for Blaine Wilson to get that clean air like you alluded to, and that's really helping him see the 17 up the racetrack here. 18's going to get some downforce, but when that 17 cuts back across here, that 18's going to lose a lot of downforce there, and you can see just that one cut across there on the exit. That nose goes away from the 18, has that thing pushed tight, puts a little bit more wheel in it, loses the rear end, and very easily, just like that, that car can step away. So great job by him holding on to that there, but man, unfortunate. Looks like he's going to fall back a good portion here as he's going to try to recharge back up here before that lap 120 stage to see if he can get third.
He only has a couple of laps to do it, so he's got to do it now. As there are a couple other hungry drivers behind him. Adam Buzzio, the 19 to Stefan Borbell, both guys have been running in the top 5, top 10 all day long. And I had a great stage 1 finishes, looking to finish it off with another good stage 2 finish. And these guys been racing really hard between themselves as well for these last few positions of the top 10 for those points. So these guys doing really, really well. But the 19 looking to make a pass on the 21 of Buzzio at the moment.
Yeah, Borbell has been looking very, very strong here in the later portion of this run, and starting to close in on Buzzio here, trying to take a top 5 spot in the closing moments of stage number 2, and this would be a great way to close it out for him here. He's closing it down. His old Blaine Wilson up ahead of him. It looks like he got a little bit into the wall, but again, his car is so resilient. Doesn't look like it's got too much damage on that machine. So great racing going on all throughout this top 5 at the moment, as even it's still stacked up for that 7th spot as Kubanek has been able to get around Cole as those positions has changed. So very good racing going all around this racetrack here at Dover.
Great racing indeed. As we look, we see Borbell in the 19 just shadowing that 21. Can't quite get the speed that he wants to get around the 21, and that just makes it frustrating as a driver. You think you're just a little bit faster than the driver in front of you, but not fast enough to make the pass, and that's what we're seeing. The 19 getting right up to the bumper of the 21 and just can't make the pass, but he's going to have a great run coming out of turn 4 as Buzzio hits the outside wall there at turn 4, and he makes him check up. So sometimes you got to be careful, and that's one of those things. Patience is sometimes better than pure aggression. Is getting out there, you save your car, save yourself for another day like this. Right now, making a pass going on the inside of the 21 into 3.
Yeah, they're going to look to this inside. The 19 of Stefan Borbell here trying to make it happen out of turn 4. Still dead even heat here between them for this top 5 spot. But it looks like Borbell going to have a nose ahead here through the middle of 1 and 2. But the run back for the 21 here on the exit. Great racing here coming down to the end of this stage. But Borbell trying everything in his power to not wash up into the 21, but to also get the run to clear him. Here it's going to happen this time off of 3 and 4. Borbell up to the top 5.
And that was definitely a pass that took a while in coming, but he made it work, and he was methodical, just working that bumper, kind of getting into his opponent's mirror there, kind of psyching him out and making the driver make a mistake. He was able to get that run, but right now, the battle for the lead, he's gotten to about 0.3 of a second. Ooh, as the 7 of Alex Coffey washes up really hard on turn 1, dives down on turn 2, but that is going to allow the 00 of John Curtis to get right to the bumper here for this stage end here as we are on lap 120, and they are bumper to bumper coming out of turn 4 for this stage. When little squirrely is the 7, and as they cross the line, lap 121, that should complete this stage here at the Wicked Racing League in Dover, but looks like we are staying green, so there is the caution and the stage break. So ladies and gentlemen, you have been able to watch some great racing, and Zach, I'm really impressed with how some of these tires are running, but we will talk about that later. We're going to take off and let these guys get service. We're going to get service, and we will be right back.
Start your engines! 4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. No rear grip whatsoever, up sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man, do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter is broken again.
And welcome back, race fans. Up to now, you have watched the conclusion of Stage 2 at 120. But here we are for the final stage, the money stage, Stage 3, where all the points matter for that checkered flag. We have seen a great race between our two front runners, the 7, Alex Coffey, and the 00 of John Curtis. And they are going to restart side by side here at Dover, the Monster Mile. And as we watch them, they are, of course, side by side. Alex Coffey chose to choose the outside line, and as the pace car dives down into pit lane, we are going to get to the restart zone, and the 7 in control of the field is going to get a decent launch. That looks like the 00 tried to maybe jump the gun a little bit, didn't quite get the start he wanted. Right now, the first 3 side by side, Adam Buzzio in 4th, and then Stephen Morbell in 5th, but under attack by the 18 of Wilson for the 5th position. So these guys shaking it up early.
Yeah, Borbell going around, getting passed around the outside there by Blaine Wilson. So great pass by him there. You're also going to let that 22 there, I believe it is, of Hawkett there come up into the picture. He's going to look to the inside of the 19 and try to make his way up into the picture.
And with that pass, he's going to take that spot away too. So the 19 of Stephen Morbell falling back quickly on this restart, but for the most part, these guys single file. Looks like there may be a little bit of a battle there for second place, but right now the must have gotten to the wall because they have certainly filed themselves up. Right now the 22 looking to make a run on the outside of the 18, and the 78 on the bumper of the car in front of them looking to make a pass as well. All these drivers doing as much work as they can, and that is the 77 of Kubinek, who's trying to stave off the attack of the 78. But these guys, knowing that the restarts are the best time to get the points in those positions, the 78 whacks the wall in turn 4.
Yeah, getting into the wall there definitely a little bit here. A few guys have had a little bit of moments here after this restart, but I tell you what, right now I've had some good stacked up racing, and the drivers who up front right now, the top 3, they are pushing so hard. I see a lot of sliding going around, a lot of guys really using up these tires because I think they know they're not going to make it this full 80 lap distance. They know it's going to be more like a 40 lap run here to split it in half, so everybody pushing the most out of these tires.
And we've seen 40-lap runs throughout the night with a couple of cautions sprinkled in there. But for the most part, we've been green and been really fast as we're on board here, I think, with the 56 car. And to see how close it gets to the outside edge there on turn 4 as he runs around. That is Wolsifer there riding around. He's at about 3 laps down in the 13th position. That just goes to show, Zach, once you get more than a lap down, it's just so hard to recover from that, as he has been 3 laps down for probably, I would say, for at least the last half of this race.
Yeah, it is so tough, Carl, especially when there's cars ahead of you a lot. You know, you got Eric Hawkett in the 22, who's, you know, he's 3 laps down. You got Mike Thomas there, the 16, 1 lap down. It's very, very tough to make up those positions and get that lucky dog when there's guys ahead of you that are less laps down. And you know, the more guys get added into that pile, and it seems like a never-ending battle. You just get stuck the rest of the night, multiple laps down. So this guy's having some tough ordeals there. But I tell you what, right here, I think business has picked up around the racetrack. Fastest times of the night definitely being turned all around from these drivers. And our leader Alex Coffey turned his fastest lap only about 4 laps ago at a 23:045. So right here showing that now is the go time of this race.
Now is definitely the go time. You know that you're going to have another pit stop. Will you be able to do that under caution or green? And that will be the question, is how long do you wait? You do know occasionally you see some of these guys make some green flag stops. There could be a mistake, and this pit road, Zach, is so difficult to get onto quickly, out of the way. Mistakes are made. And so it is very difficult to get on this pit road, especially under green flag conditions.
Yeah, this is one of the toughest places ever to get on pit road for sure. As it looks like right now some racing. Well, at the moment, folks, we got some problems with our audio going through, so sorry if you're hearing a little bit of distortion or any issues there. We're going to be getting those fixed up in the background here as me continue on to show the action.
And looking around on the track, the 77 of Kubanek back into the clutches of the 78. So these guys coming back at it, and this is all for the top 10 position. So these guys working really hard to make those passes back here mid-pack. Gotten figured out, but again, we are still here with the 77 and the 78. These guys have been battling hardball for the past 5 laps, and this is for, I think, 8th position, 7th position. So, Zach, these guys looking to get in any position. Oh, as we see the 77 wash up there, get into the wall, and the 78 is going to take that advantage, but only get to the side door of the 77 and only make the pass into turn 3.
Yeah, that was close action there between those guys, for sure.
Back again here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting, trying to work out some technical bugs, some sound issues I think you guys have been hearing. But right now, we are following the battle of the 96 and the 56. But up ahead in the second place position, there's been a battle just raging for about the last 5-6 laps between John Curtis and Gavin Rogers in the 00 and the 17. They have been swapping back and forth these past few laps, and only letting the 7 of Alex Kaufman pull further and further away. A few laps ago, the gap between second place was under a second, but right now it has grown to over 2.5 seconds. And right now, Zach, those battling side by side just stalls both parties out so bad. It's almost, unless you know you can make the pass, it's almost not worth it making a move unless you know you can do it.
Yeah, and luckily for Curtis's sake, he did get that pass done. He gets past Gavin Rogers, who really does seem to be struggling right now as he really pushed to stay with that 7 machine. But it seems his tires have definitely left that machine. Is Buzzio. He's driven back up to 4th. It seems like he's gained a few spots, gotten by Blaine Wilson and Borbell. So right there for that 4th position, great job by him. As we drop back to these guys battling right here. Wilson and Borbell have been going at it for majority of the night. These three with Buzzio, and Borbell not letting any pressure off of that 18.
Definitely not, and Wilson drove really aggressive in the beginning of that restart, and he's going to have to check up coming out of 2 and swirls just a little bit, allowing the 19 to get inside and get around. So Blaine Wilson really struggling with the handling on that car here in the latter stages of this run. With 200 laps total, we have about less than 50 laps here to go for the Wicked Racing League at Dover. This season premiere, the first points paying race, Zach. We've seen a lot of racing and a lot of fading. We've had a lot of green flag runs. We've seen who's good on the long run, who's on the short run. And right now I think the 18 is one of those short run cars. And the more the run goes on, the further he falls back.
Yeah, definitely seems like struggling a little bit right now for grip, as Borbell is the one who's really going for it. He's going to the inside now. A Buzzio up ahead. He's going to make that pass and now take that 4th position. So Steven Borbell up to the spot he now qualified as. Oh, gets a little bit loose off of 2. That allows Buzzio back to the outside here to battle for that spot again once again. So we just had the spot, then could not take it.
How quickly the tides turn here with Wilson on the inside of the 21. Those guys are going to fight amongst each other. The 19 going to rub the wall on turn 4 exit. He's going to be solo going into turn 1 while the cars behind him of Wilson and Buzzio battle it out. But right behind him is the 78 of Mason Houseman, who's just kind of kept these guys in the front windshield there and just slowly chipped away at the lead. And right now on the bumper of the 21 of Buzzio. So Mason, we haven't mentioned his name very much tonight, but he's looking to make a pass on Buzzio.
Yeah, I mean, really from 4th position all the way back to 8th. It's only about a second from Borbell back to Kubanek. So great little group here of battling going on. And Borbell has his mistake. That's only going to make it closer between 4th to 8th. And this has been great action here. I think we're closing in also onto the window for pit stops. I think around 160, 165 is where people are going to pit. Back in the back of this pack, though, the 78 of Hausman into the wall. That really checked him up.
And the 78 has made great acquaintances with the wall in both turns 2 and turns 4, but he keeps trucking along as he fell behind Kubanek, but looks to retake that position here because every position counts. But as these guys are kind of strung out at the moment and just riding along later on in this run, got to give a shout out to one of our sponsors here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and that is Advanced Sim Racing. They were founded in 2020 and is the fastest growing North American chassis manufacturer, equipment retailer, and they are owned and operated by passionate sim racers like you and I, and they only use the most durable, sturdy aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available. So go check them out. Tell them we sent you. Use the discount code FreakyFast5, all spelled out, for 5% off your order, and tell them we sent you. We love them having on board. And as you're watching the 78 really try to make a charge there on the 77 of Kubanek, and got out of the brake and throttle before he can make complete calamity there, as we watch the 77 make a move on Adam Buzzio. So Adam Buzzio struggling as this run goes on.
Yeah, one moment Buzzio is in 4th, now back to 7th very quickly. So unfortunate for him there, but man, I gotta tell you, that was a great shout out there to Advanced Sim Racing there, Carl, as They got some of the greatest products over there for sure for sim racing, but we got 2 more products that you can add to your simulation, and one of them is the admin box. That's right, admin box with 2 X's there. What is admin box, you say? It is race control at your fingertips. Each admin box connects via USB, has pre-programmed commands with no key bindings necessary, with race control, driver functionalities, and pay options with LED backlighting to make the buttons highly visible. So make sure you head on over to adminbox.com and check out what they have in store for you. There is trust me, I got my own admin box. Very, very nice product that will help any admin out there for their leagues or any even type of driver out there trying to help themselves in their races. So definitely head on over there to adminbox.com. Use that promo code freaky FFB/box with 2 X's there to get that discount. And then after that, you should go check out iRacing iFlag. That's right, iRacing iFlag is the best virtual flag system out there with 64 LEDs that give you plenty of information, not only giving you the flag status out there on track, but it could also be a virtual spotter, also letting you know if a car is on your inside, your outside, to your left, to your right. So definitely are going to want to go check them out at iRacingIFlag.com to see what they have in store for you there, and use that promo code FreakyFast2022 to get that discount there at iRacingIFlag.com. That is our sponsors for tonight, and definitely some great sim products to add to some people's lists.
Great sim products and great sponsors as well. We love having them on board. Love the community here at iRacing and being able to broadcast and race. This is just a great community I love being a part of, and I love sponsors to make that happen. So make sure check out their product. And as we're running around the closing laps, about 37 laps to go here at Dover. This 00 of John Curtis has closed a 2.5 second lead to about 1.7. Made a mistake there in turn 2 and had an issue, but rolling around, we see the 00 of John Curtis, the driver cam. Absolutely love the driver cam here, and this is just we see John Curtis with his wheel. He's been really smooth. We looked at Buzzio's earlier. He was really battling those bumps. It doesn't look like Curtis is battling those bumps near as much, and that just goes to show so many different tuning adjustments you can make for these cars and these rigs and setups.
No, definitely. You have so many different options with them, and I love the wheel that Curtis has got. I mean, just a giant diameter wheel there when it comes to stock car racing, and that's what you want. You want to have the more wheel possible, the more radius you have there, the smoother your inputs can be. It makes it a little bit slower. It turns that ratio down. And you see a lot of guys here on stock cars, they really like to get the biggest style rim, and that is definitely a giant rim there that John Curtis has there on his sim rig. So great looking stuff there from him, and it's always cool to see those driver cams again. Is right now I'm seeing pit road be lit up by smoke clouds, and what that's telling me is drivers hard on the brakes, locking up those Goodyear tires here on lap 167, trying to get service done. As I said, 165 I felt like was the range where you start seeing stuff happen. Well, 167, here it is.
You called it, Zach. And some drivers with issues getting on pit road is the 18, Blaine Wilson. I saw him in practice make some practice runs on pit road. Was really hot getting into there, had some issues with those barrels, and it looks like he has had some more issues. We're going to see if Blaine Wilson is affected. But here we are riding along with the 17 and the 19, and there's the 18 taking all 4 tires and fuel to get him through the rest of this race. Doesn't look to be too bad damage on that 18, but as these cars get serviced, they get more and more laps down, and we noted earlier, one green flag pit stop will put you down a couple of laps, so you're just crossing your fingers hoping that caution doesn't come out.
Yeah, if you pit now, you're definitely saying please no caution. Is I can't confirm. Leader Alex Coffey, he's coming down the pit road. John Curtis also. Both those drivers locking up major smoke clouds entering into pit road, but no black flags being shown for them. So good on entry here. Just got to be careful on pit road not to speed. One of the easier pit roads actually to speed on, 35 miles an hour around here. I tell you, when you're out there on the racetrack, we're going upwards of 170 mile an hour here at Dover, entering these corners on fresh tires. And when you go on pace speed at 35 miles an hour, it feels like an eternity.
Definitely, and I can attest to that. I did a race here just a few weeks ago, and man, It is so hard to maintain that pit road speed. You're just just crawling along at 35 miles an hour, where the whole rest of the field is screaming past you, and it is so hard just to mentally make yourself hold that speed. As we see, it looks like Adam Buzzy is going to go around the 77 there on some new tires. So is the 9 of Chad, being the 77 having a little issue coming off turn 4, but we keep it straight for now. And it looks like Jimmy Kubinek and Mason Hausman are our only drivers still staying out. So this is interesting call for these drivers. Haven't typically called them names out in the front, but here they are, 1 and 2.
Yeah, they've done a great job here tonight to be right in the mix, and really they were right in the mix of that 4th to 8th area. So great running for them, but they're doing a little bit of a different strategy, taking it longer here, stretching a fuel load out, possibly looking for that caution, because right now every single car a lap down to these drivers. If a caution was to come out now, the 77 and the 78, they would be looking very well off right now. But as this run continues on, if we do stay green, they're losing valuable amounts of time staying off a pit road.
Yeah, and we have 27 laps to go here to conclude this race. And with that stretching, I mean, look at the 18 going by the 77, like he's standing still. That is seconds. So right now, our leaders are running 25 ones, 25 fives, and Gavin Rogers, the first car on new tires, 23 ones. So over a 2-second a lap advantage. So you're going to clear 22 laps, 23-second lap in about 11 laps. Even if these guys were to stay out, these drivers would still get their laps back and the lead. So interesting call for the long haul, but sometimes you got to do what the leaders aren't.
Yeah, you really do sometimes, Carl. It's, if you play the same strategies the leaders, a lot of times you're just going to end up in the same spot. If you're going out here this beginning of the season looking for that wow moment to get that victory, as the 78 there gets into the wall a little bit off before, you got to go out here and do something off the wall strategy wise, and that's what they're trying. Right now, still a lap ahead of everybody, but Coffee, I can say, he is closing in the background, looking to unlap himself. And once he unlaps himself, the whole picture is outdone.
Yep, done indeed. And what's interesting about Coffee is he's behind. He went in as the leader, but now he's behind Gavin Rogers. Alex Coffey overshot his pit stop just a little bit. Oh, and Alex Coffey's going to get into the 78, ascend the 78 into the outside wall. And that is crazy little incident there that would happen to Mason Hausman, but it looks like the 7 is going to continue on, and we are going to continue green. No caution for that incident.
Yeah, the 7 there getting definitely a little aggressive. I think he just misjudged it just a tiny bit and caught the 78, and Hausman is going to have to limp that thing to pit road. Hopefully for his sake, maybe has a faster pair, but has lost so much time. Now with him hitting pit road, that strategy of staying out ahead of those leaders and crapping the lap down, out the window. But Kubinek still on the racetrack, chugging along right now. Last driver yet to hit pit road.
Chugging along indeed, but right now Gavin Rogers, Alex Coffey on the lead lap, and they are battling side by side. So if this stays green, this is essentially a battle for the lead. Ooh, the 7 is going to get into the door of the 17. He's going to get down hard into the inside wall, and he's going to have some major damage on that left side of the 7. The 17 looks like he is good to go, but the 7 car on the left side having some damage from getting the inside wall down that back straightaway. So the 7 turning up the heat and getting really aggressive in the latter stages of this race.
Oh, yeah, that definitely heated up there for a moment. That would have been the change for the lead there once everything cycles through. At the moment, Rogers with a sizable gap, and Coffey there, we'll have to see if that damage plays to his demise there a little bit, but I don't think it will. It doesn't like it's hurt that car too bad. Last time by, it was about 2/10 still quicker than Rogers ahead, but the driver behind him, Curtis, is really closing him down. They both entered pit road at the same time, so I was surprised to see Curtis so far behind, but with that little bit of a contact there, this has allowed John Curtis to really close in, and he'll have a shot at this in the final 20 laps.
John Curtis would definitely love another podium getting around Alex Coffey with some damage. Some late race drama here for the Wicked Racing League, which is just absolute been great racing, really. A lot of green flag runs, a lot of strategy, but there is the 0-0 of John Curtis, and he is trying to get up there. And oh, the 17 got really loose right there, and the 7 had to dodge it. So 17 with issues, and here's the 0 of John Curtis looking to take on the 17 as well. So 17 losing some speed here, even after some recent pit stops.
Yeah, and the 17 there, a little bit earlier than them, got the undercut, just could not hold on, fought hard, and now going to have to slot back to that 4th position here. That's going to put Curtis up the 3rd, Coffey up the 2nd. They're about 15 or just under 15 seconds behind Kupanek, as now Kupanek still continuing on. He's going to have to decide to hit pit road very soon.
Definitely very soon. At this point, he's just got to run it out, so he's basically on fumes. He's ran the strategy out as much as he could, but it's definitely still losing really a couple of seconds a lap to the cars such as Alex Coffey and John Curtis. So already looks like it might have worked, but a lot of these drivers unlapping themselves, and he's just trying to hold on for a good finish here at the debut of the Wicked Racing League for their first points paying race. He's looking to get that podium, but we will see 15 laps to go here, and the race is not over by any stretch of the imagination, as John Curtis is slowly tracking down the 7 and putting in some slightly faster lap time. So looking to get that, that would be the race for the lead once the cycle's out. So really, John Curtis looking hard and driving hard.
Yeah, he's definitely driving pretty hard right now, trying to close down his teammate here and see if he can have a shot for this once it all cycles through. But Kubanek still about 7 seconds up the road. Looks like he'll keep continuing on here for the moment. It'll be interesting to see, can Kubanek stretch the fuel? Can he take it that full distance? You know, you got to think the caution came out at 120. We got going back green around 124, 125. That's, you know, you're looking at around 75 laps. That would be a stretch with a 72% fuel load, but right now he's done a great job to stretch it farther than I thought he could.
Done a great job indeed, and right now 14 laps to go, 13 laps to go, and he's still trucking along. So the leaders essentially about 5 seconds behind him now, so that was another 2 seconds off. They're going to be on him before he can really think. So you would just have to be thinking at this point, just trying to stretch it out, hope to get a top 5 position by the time everything settles. But right now, the battle here between Kubanek and Wilson. Wilson trying to get around on some fresh tires. Kubanek just making that a little bit difficult, but just can't really do anything about it. He's running about 67 lap old tires, and Blaine Wilson is working on stuff about 22 laps. So 40 laps, 45 fresher lap tires just going to scream around you no matter how hard you try. And it looks like right now the 77 of Kubanek come to pit road.
Yeah, going to hit pit road finally here in lap 189 of 200, and just short of that full distance. And unfortunately for him, that caution that he needed so dearly did not come out. He's going to lose a lot of time. Going to be probably going at least a lap and a half down, but those new tires should allow him to possibly get back on that lead lap. We'll have to see, but at the moment you're watching right now with coming to 10 to go, it's the battle for the win between teammates Alex Coffey and John Curtis.
And John Curtis is getting to that spot that you mentioned, Zach, that bubble, that half-second bubble. He's about 7/10, and every time he gets there, seems to stall out again. He hasn't quite been able to close the gap as we saw in the first stage. So he's John Curtis got to think outside the box here. Think of a different way to get the line, get the air, and get around that 7. He's going to want to win this race because the 7, despite that damage, has been able to do really well later on.
Yeah, he really has been able to recover very, very well from that. So good job on him here, and he's been able to stabilize this. So we'll see, can he hang on here in the final 9 laps here. Coffey has definitely been the dominant car all night, but Curtis has just slowly crept in every single long run to his teammate. It's just going to come down to who can get it done here at the end. I think it's going to come down to Coffey having to make a mistake. We've seen how much that clean air has been a factor.
Oh, definitely. And there's the 18 of Blaine Wilson in front of him as a lapped car, but I don't think there's going to pose too much of a threat. They're on different, roughly the same set of tires, but with only 8 laps to go, these guys have just about 7 laps to go now, lap 194 until we conclude. So these guys racing hard, but right now, John Curtis just can't seem to close that gap to the 7.
They just can't seem to close the gap down, but I tell you what, folks, it's closing down the end of this race, but not closing down the end of our broadcast. We're gonna have a post-race interviews right after this 7 laps is over with our top 3 finishers here tonight. It's gonna be fun to talk with them, so don't miss out on that post-race show after these next 6 laps.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to miss that post-race interview as we are 6 laps to go. Alex Coffey has led a bunch of laps here tonight at the Valley Office Systems 200 at Dover, and he looks to be capping it off and actually pulling away a little bit from John Curtis. So the 7 with 5 to go now, not looking back and just kind of trying to separate himself from the second place car, John Curtis, as he tracks down the 18, looking to put Blaine Wilson another lap down.
Yeah, looking to put Blaine Wilson lap down, lap all the way up to that 5th or all the way up to the 6th position. So, very dominant performance here for this 7 machine. He's looking to close it out here when they come across the line. It's 4 to go, only 4 more miles. Will Alex Coffey be able to hold on here for his season opening win?
Will he indeed? And you never know. We did see earlier he made a little bit of a mistake racing against the 17 earlier, put himself in the wall. So nothing is done until that checkered flag waves. And right now he can't make any clear headway on that 18 in front of him, that loud car. But the 00 behind 7. Ooh, it looks like the 18 is just going to pull down and get out of the way. It looks like he may be having some issues there. But the 7 and 00 have nothing but clear track in front of them. And a 6/10 of a second gap between the two of them. Curtis is trying everything he can in his book to get to the bumper of the 7 and maybe make a move.
Yeah, trying everything in his power, but just don't know if there's going to be enough time here. 2 more miles from the Dover International Speedway here for the Wicked Racing League. It's Alex Coffey out front, John Curtis in 2nd, and Gavin Rogers in 3rd. They're going to be coming to 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. Can Coffey hold back his teammate?
And as Coffey comes out of turn 4 with a 0.5 second gap, the white flag, this is the freaky fast white flag. 1 to go here at Dover International Speedway as Coffey has dominated this race, controlled the field, and John Curtis has seen so much of what he's seen tonight is the bumper of that 7 car as they go into the final turn. 3 and turn 4 for the last time tonight. Checkered flag is in the air and waving, and Alex Coffey is going to win the Valley Office Systems 200 here at Dover. The first race, first points paying race for the Wicked Racing League, Zach. And what a way to come about it. Had some drama, had some strategy. What a great race all around.
Yeah, it really was, Carl. It was so fun to call, and great job to Alex Coffey there. Really drove a heck of a race and came out here tonight, put on a dominant performance. In Dover, he gets it done.
He gets it done, and to celebrate, we're going to see some donuts and some burning rubber here. He's going to get on that start-finish line and just get ready to burn them down here. He's going to let some of the field by, but man, that performance by the 7 really put into perspective how fast this 7 machine is and how much of a competitor we are probably going to be seeing from the rest of these, and the battle that's going to develop, the rivalry between the 00 and the 7, Zach. But ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. When we come, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will have the top 3 finishers in our post-race interview. So when we come back, we will interview those guys, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back, race fans. We just watched a really exciting conclusion to this race here at Dover, the first race for the Wicked Racing League. As promised, we have our top three finishers. We're going to start off with our number 17 of Gavin Rogers. Gavin Rogers, you really fought hard all race long. You were in the top three, mixed it up in the top three. Got into a little bit of an incident there with the 7 later on in that run. Take us through that.
Yeah, I pitted early. I was gonna stay out later, but they stayed out a little bit later than I thought they would have, so I decided to pit early. Thought it played out for me really well until they flew right past me. I kind of overdrove it there. Sorry if I hit Alex pretty hard there. I didn't mean to if I did. But yeah, it was a good race. It was tough. Pretty cool getting a long green run here. I haven't had a league race personally running a long run like that. Multiple long runs. So yeah, pretty proud of how the race went, how everybody did, and want to thank my sponsors, Sundance Feet to Jet Set and Printed Pieces, Nigel Christensen as well. He made some great paint schemes for me. Got a third one coming up here next week. It'll be my Jet Set car, and yeah, this is good racing.
Definitely was, Gavin. I tell you what, buddy, congrats on third. We head off to Michigan next week, the 2 miles there, and how you feel about heading off into that big track?
I felt good. I know my long run probably won't be that great. Try to practice for it, but no matter what I do, usually these guys outdoing me with it. So I try to do well on my long run. Probably be a little bit better on the short run. Probably just stick with that. But yeah, not this. Just get as much practice as I can. I know these guys will be fast, so get prepared as best I can.
Well, I know we will be looking forward to it up here, Gavin. But before we let you go, any fans you want to shout out to tonight?
My mom, my dad, my grandparents, my teammates, karting teammates, Gio and David. I know they were probably watching. I don't know how many people are watching. Probably my aunts. Yeah, my aunts and my cousins.
Well, congratulations on a third place finish, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
And that was the third place of Gavin Rogers. Up next, the 00, John Curtis. John Curtis, you had the 7's number almost all night long. You were doing really well, just couldn't quite close the gap. You get to about half a second to his bumper, but couldn't quite close it. Was aerodynamics really that important here at Dover and really making it difficult to make those passes?
It wasn't more or less aero than it was, I guess, just tire wear. It was pretty crazy. I didn't know, we agreed on the strategy at the end. I didn't know if it was going to work out. I wanted to pit like the lap after they did, but it surprised me because I thought I was back there, but really fun race. So proud of everybody in the league and all these admins that help out, and especially Adam. I just can't. I'm excited for the season. I'm ready.
Yeah, definitely, definitely exciting race here tonight to start off the season. John, I tell you, congrats on second, man, and heading off into Michigan next week should be also a fantastic race. How you feel about that speedway there?
It's on the list of ones that I need to get better at. So there'll be plenty of practice this week, and hopefully we can pull out a similar result.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing that. John, before we let you go, any fans, any sponsors you want to shout out to tonight?
I gotta shout out y'all, Freaky Fast Broadcasting, for doing this. It's like I said, I've been watching it again, and it's just amazing. I really enjoy going back and watching it. And gotta thank CNC Esports, Wheelhouse Garage. I gotta thank Curtis Signs Incorporated, Get Money, and like I said, Adam Buzzio is a big person in getting this league ready and getting it started, and I just gotta really thank him. A lot. All the admins do a lot, but Adam has gone above and beyond to get this thing rolling. So, and congratulations to Mr. Coffee. We'll be celebrating here in a little bit.
Well, congratulations to you first, and good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
That was our second place finisher, John Curtis. But next, the moment you've all been waiting for, our winner, the number 7, Alex Coffey. Alex, you pretty much dominated all night, had a couple of close calls there at the end. How did you hold on and seal the deal there at the end?
It's definitely past 10 or 15 laps on the tires. It's definitely a handful. With this new update, which I like, last update, it was kind of just conserve, and keep it from being tight. But this one, you can, depending on how you drive it throughout a run, it can get tight or loose on you. So I had a lot of fun with that, and we did have a little contact between me and Gavin twice, but I saw him get loose above me, so I knew we were about to touch. I tried to cut it down and keep us both going. So I tapped the inside wall, but it didn't seem to affect the car too bad. So yeah, we just had to play. After I got past Gavin, I just had to make sure I conserve the tires good enough. I knew John was real quick on a long run, and just try to take the air from him if he got close, and hopefully I was going to stay out front, which had happened. So, but I think 10 more laps, I think John would have had me. So I'm glad we were able to hold him off.
Well, first off, congrats, Alex, on the win, man. That was an awesome race between you and John coming all the way down to the end there, man. We seen, like you said, talking about taking the air away. How crucial do you feel like getting out front was for you tonight? Because, man, it seemed like once you got out front, you were able to really manage your stuff from there.
Yeah, so it was just more so having when you're out front, you got a consistent air, so nothing's really changing. You can go lap to lap and feel the differences, but then you get in somebody else's air, you could have a moment where you catch some bad air and stuff doesn't feel like it did the last lap before. So it was more so just about consistency, I'd say, with the air out front. I knew the most sensitive spot to the air was coming off from center of the corner off. So you would either get tight or loose. There was no real way to predict it if you were the second car, third car in line. So you were having to drive. You'd get the draft on the straightaway, of course, and it'd pick you up a little bit of time. But just it being so unpredictable back there made it a little tough, I think.
Well, it made the driving tough, but it was sure fun to watch from up here, Alex. Before we let you go, sponsors, fans, you want to shout out to tonight?
Shout out my mom watching the broadcast. Shout out John. He was quick, like I said, on that long run. I knew he was going to be a problem. But yeah, shout out Buttkicker. Shout out y'all, Freaky Fast, for doing the broadcast. Shout out Buzzio running everything. Shout out Rev for being race control tonight. We didn't have near as many yellows as I thought was going to happen at Dover with it being so loose, but I'm proud everybody did a good job keeping it together. And I also want to apologize to Mason Hausman. I think we got together somewhere out throughout that run. I haven't got a chance to watch it back yet, but yeah, we had a good run. We hope we'll get him next week at Michigan.
Yes, sir, indeed. Congratulations on the win, and as you said, good luck next week at Michigan.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
And that was our race winner, Alex Coffey. We watched quite a bit of racing, a couple of flags for incidents, a couple of flags for stages, some great racing, some stage points and strategy, Zach. I am really looking forward to next week at Michigan with this group.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it was a blast here tonight at Dover, man. We really had a great time calling all the action here and seeing these 200 laps unfold before our eyes and watching a great battle coming down all the way to the end. So I cannot wait to head off into Michigan, where that track with this next-gen car has been a little bit different. It was, a lot of a draft package before. Now I think it's going to be a little bit more spread out. So it should be fun as we see these official results here.
And looking at these results, we see Alex Coffey, John Curtis, Gavin Rogers taking up the top 3 positions, Stefan Borbell in 4th, and Adam Buzzio going to round out the top 5th. Christian DeRoche is in 6th, Jimmy Kubanek in 7th, Steve Cole in 8th, Blaine Wilson in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Mike Thomas, who was 3 laps down. So even being multiple laps down led to some top 10 finishes in some of these drivers. So some of these drivers that kind of stand out, Ryan Thomas, he was super fast, but just a little on the loose end and couldn't keep it under control, had some incidents and had to take it behind the wall, so unfortunate for him. Got to give a shout out to Nigel Christensen. He tried starting this race. He's feeling a bit under the weather, couldn't quite finish it, so I hope he gets better. And ladies and gentlemen, we watched a lot of racing here at Dover for the Wicked Racing League. Next week is Michigan, same place, same time. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you name it, we are on it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, never miss any of the action, which we have quite a lot going on right now, so don't forget to do that. And most importantly, Hug yourself, hug your loved ones, and until next time, keep it freaky fast.